Okay, we start the portion of Ayera, which is chapter 18 and verse number 1. Ayera Elav Hashem, and God revealed himself to him, Be'eleinim Mamre, in the plains of Mamre, and he was sitting at the entrance of the tent at the heat of the day. So Rashi says, why did he visit? Why did he come to him? To come teach us law, to visit the sick. It said son of Chanina, it was his third day of his circumcision. And the Holy One, blessed be, came to inquire about his welfare. This is a Bikur Chaylim, the lesson of coming to visit somebody who's sick, not to talk to him, but God came to see him, just to visit the sick. In the plains of Mamre. Why does it tell us where it was? We know where he was. So who should us it is on an Eshkol of Mamre, we mentioned in last week's Pasha. So he was the one who gave him this idea, even before God told him the command that he should do this, he should circumcise himself. But Abraham didn't want to circumcise himself until he got God's command. But since he gave him the Eitzah, the Abishta came in his so to say, appeared to him in where his part of the land was, in Mamre. Yeshev, Yoshav, it's without a vav. He sat. So really, he's missing a vav. It's a short word because really he wanted to stand, because he wanted to get up and he wanted to. The only one best to be he said, "Sit and I will stand." And it will be a sign to your children that I'm destined to stand in the congregation of judges. As it says, God stands, God stands in the divine assembly. So you sit and I will stand. Pesach Oyel, he came to see, what was he doing at the tent? He was sick. What was he doing at the gate of his tent, of his house? So he wanted to see if any passbys were. He wanted to He wanted to invite guests to his house. It was in the day that was hot. Why was suddenly this day hot? The Abishah took out the sun from its sheath. It came extremely global warming, came extremely hot out there, so that no humans would come. But then he saw that Avram Avinu was really distressed that he couldn't do Achnos Tzarchim, but it was extremely hot. And there was nobody in the vicinity. Nobody was coming in the vicinity. So therefore, he brought malachim that were clothed, that looked like humans. That's why he picked up his lies. He saw, behold, 3 men were standing beside him. He got up and he ran. He passed the chayil, and he bowed down to them. The Rashi says, why suddenly did 3 come? If God wanted to send an angel, he could have sent 1. So ultimately, they sent 3 angels because they have an avodah, they have a service that they have to do. 1 was to bring the news that Isaac's birth to Sarah. 1 was to overturn stone. And 1 was to heal Avram Avinu. So why couldn't one of them do all 3 jobs? For 1 angel does not perform 2 errands. Every angel has 1 avodah. You should know this because throughout the entire chapter, Scripture mentions them in plural, and they ate, and they set them. But when it comes to announce the birth of Isaac, it says 1 singular, and continuing overrunning Zdaim, it says it again singular. So he's not able to do anything. I will not overturn. So he only has 1 job. And Rafal, who healed Abraham, he finished his job. So now he got another job. And 1 angel cannot do 2 jobs at the same time. But 1 angel can do 2 jobs, one after the other. So Malach Rafal, Malach Gabriel went to destroy the stone. Malach Rafal, that came to heal Abraham, went now to do the 2nd job. And that was to save Lot. And that's why it says that the angel said, flee for your life. Also singular. It's of him, Allah. It was standing upon him. Standing upon him sounds like they're standing on top of him. So why need a rut? Why need a run? It's a fun of. Olav over here means a fun of before him. Vayar kemar vayar, vayar shtei. Why does it say vayar twice? First, to be understood in an apparent meaning, he saw. And the second one was vayar, he understood. He observed that they were standing in one place. He observed they didn't want to come bother him. And he understood they did not wish to burden him. And although they knew that he would come, that he would come towards them, they stood in their place out of respect for him, to show him that they did not wish to trouble him. And he went first and ran towards them. This is the meaning of this. The Bab Metzia, it's written standing before him, and then it's written he ran towards them. When he saw that he was untying and his bandages, they separated from him immediately, and he ran towards them. So another interpretation, they were actually right there, but then they saw that he was in a great pain. So when they saw that he was in great pain, they went away, and he ran after them. This teaches us a lot of things about Chnos Sechem, about the people that go to other people and the people that, the person that hosts them, how they need to deal with one another. He says, my Lord, if you find favor in your eyes, do not go away. You hear? Come into the house. So Rash says he spoke in singular. There were three guys. So why did he speak in the singular? So he spoke to the chief. He realized one of them was the big knaka in the group. And he called them, and he said to them like this, he called them all lords and chiefs. One, he said to them, please do not pass, because if he wouldn't pass, his companion would stay with him. So according to this version, the word Adonai is a profane word, means talk about the malachim, meaning not to refer to God. Another explanation, over here, he turned to God. And he said to God, don't go away from here. Wait until he would run and bring the wafer. Let me go and invite these people. Thank you for visiting me, but I want to invite these guests. So that's what he meant. He's talking over here to God. And the statement, do not pass precedes it. It would, because customary for the verse to speak in it. So even though he ran to them already, so it doesn't really make sense. Now it sounds like he came back and spoke to God. So there's no chronological order in the verse. So even though the other verse says he ran towards them, so he's talking to them, it sounds like. So really this verse 3 goes before 2. But that's the way the psukim are written in the Torah. It's not always one pasuk goes in front of the next pasuk. And Rashi brings proof to that. So here you have the two interpretations to the word Adonai, whether it goes on the angels or goes on God. And God, here we learn, if it goes on God, that's greater to invite guests than to have, so to say, the revelation of God. Come wash your feet. And recline under the trees, going back to the angels according to the second interpretation. Through a messenger. And this was a mistake. The only one blessed be rewards Abraham children through a messenger. And Moses raised his hand and struck the rock. So this was, he should have done it himself, really, but he was sick. But ultimately, thank God that he did it, because then we had Moshe Rabbeinu. And go and wash your feet. So he thought they were Arabs who prostrate themselves for the dust of their feet. Didn't think Rashi that is Arabs. There were the Arabs in the time of Avram Avinu. But there were these kind of peoples, the nomads. And he was strict not to allow any idolatry into his house. But the Lord, who was not a Beloit, who was not so strict, mentions lodging before washing. That's why later he doesn't ask the angels to wash their feet. Tachas eitz, under the tree, Elon. Tachas Elon, under the tree. Eitz means a board, really, but it means a tree. And take some bread. And make yourself happy. Then you can go on. Because that's the reason why you pass by. They said, you're right, this is what we'll do. What means to satisfy your heart? In Torah. I'm not only feeding you food, I'm going to teach you some Torah and prophets. And in Haggadah, we find that bread is a sustenance of the heart. The Torah is a sustenance of the heart. Sustain your heart. A morsel of bread. The bread sustains man's heart. So he told them, listen, you don't come and get to eat. We're gonna have a dvar Torah at the table. And you're gonna satisfy your soul. That's what he came by. He didn't come by just to eat. He came by to learn. So I requested this from you. Sustain your hearts, because you passed by and stopped by my home to honor me. So now you got to hear my dvar Torah. Like al shed, because this is because that's the whole reason why you came here. Divine providence. You passed by it to learn something, to eat and learn. Avram ran to Sarah's tent. Hasten 3 saw of meal, fine flour. Lushi Basilga is making into cakes. So that's his fine flour for cakes, and the meal for the starch used to cook by cooks over the pot to draw in the scum of the pot. Then ran to the cattle. He took a calf, tender and good. He gave it to the child, to the youth, to make it quickly. He took 3 calves in order to feed them 3 tongues with mustard. He wanted to give them the best of the animal, so he wanted to give them tongue. So he shechted 3 animals to give them 3 tongues. This was Yishmael to teach him to do mitzvahs. And he took cream and milk. And then with the calf that he had prepared, he gave them to eat. And he stood under the tree, and they ate. So Rashi said, he took milk. What happened to the bread? But he didn't bring them bread, because Sarah suddenly she started having her period. But a man and woman returned to her, so the dough became unclean. And he didn't want to serve his guest unclean bread. So he skipped the bread. Chema, fat milk that was skimmed on the top of Ben Abaka, Rashi says, which he prepared. Each one he prepared, he took and brought before them. This is the whole question. How did he serve the milk and meat? If Avraham Avinu did the whole Torah, how did he serve the milk and meat? So therefore Rashi says, he didn't serve the milk and meat together, even though it sounds that way, but really the meat took much longer to prepare. He had to shecht it, he had to rinse it, he had to kasher it. So first he gave them milk, and then as they went on, an hour later, he gave them meat. Vayechelu, and they ate. It looked like they ate. This teaches us whatever they serve you in a house of a guest should always eat what they serve him. Shouldn't say, "Oh, I don't eat this kind of food." It's not nice to the host. So too, the malachim, they don't need to eat. They don't eat. They don't have a digestive system, but they swallowed it down, even though they don't eat. Those went straight down because they were guests. They asked him, "Where's your wife?" He said they're she's in the tent. So Rashi says that a word "elav" is there's a dot over the word "elav." I'm sorry, the word "ayeh" in the word "elav." I'm sorry, and we learn. Shimon and others said, whoever's undotted letters are more than the dotted ones, we must expound the undotted letters. And here, the dotted letters are more than the undotted letters, and you must expound the dotted letters. This is the meaning of that. He asked Sarah, "Ayeh, where is Abraham?" We learn from the person to ask his lodging place, the husband about the wife, and the wife about the husband. It said the ministering angels knew where our mother Sarah was, but they asked in order to make known that she was modest. in order to endear her to her husband. Said Rabbi Yosef ben Chanina, in order to send her a cup of blessing, a cup of wine, which they said grace after meal. That was why they asked him where his wife was. So you can learn three things. Number one, that you should ask your host, how's your wife? How's his wife if she wasn't there? Number two, it shows that Sarah was humble, was modest. She didn't come into the tent. And number three, they wanted to send her a blessing. Hine ba'il, she said, she's in the tent. They were outside under the tree. She's in the tent. She's modest. She doesn't hang around in parties. They told her, go back and tell her that at this time next year, your wife is going to have a son. Shara was listening in the tent. That was behind her. In this time, and now she says there was Passover. This story happened on the holiday of Passover. And then the year later, Passover, Yitzchak was born. And the case, he says, the case at this time, when it will be life for you, you will be alive and well. Some say it means that he told her, case at a time when you'll need life, I'll come back and save Isaac. This was the angel who came back and saved Isaac. That's what he said next day. The angel didn't say, I'm going to come back, but he was speaking him as an emissary of God. Similarly, the angel said to her, I will greatly multiply your seed. The angel didn't multiply her seed, but it was the angel did not power to multiply her children. But he spoke in the emissary of God. He said, that's what he said, I will multiply. Even though he was talking God's word, he meant God will multiply. Here too, the emissary of the president said that this is to him. At this season, at this time next year, you'll embracing a son. And she said, oh no, my Lord. Man of God did not fail your maidservant. Those angels who announced to Sarah said below, at an appointed time I will return. Those angels who live and endure forever said, for an appointed time I'll return, but I am a flesh and blood today, alive today and dead tomorrow. Wherever I shall be alive or dead, at this time you'll embrace a son. So the Malach says, listen, it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with God. I'm just the messenger. The entrance was right behind the Malach. Abraham and Sarah were old, coming in the years. Abraham was 99. Sarah was they were 90, 89 at that time. And Sarah didn't have her cycle. Kadali is pasuk mimena. She didn't have a menstrual cycle. But Sarah laughed. After I become worn out, I'm an old lady. Will I have a smooth flesh? I'm going to come young. That's what she meant. And also, my master is not the old man. Bekirba, that says she looked in her innards. She looked inside and said, "Is it possible of these inside will carry a child? That these breasts, which I've dried up, will have forth milk?" Idna tzasa b'basar, the smoothness of flesh, in the language of the Mishnah, it causes the hair to fall out, and the smoothness of the flesh. Another explanation, the expression of time, idna, the time of her mention, she said, "Adaini idna, Isli idna, I don't have any cycle." Some of the Roshim say she didn't have a womb. She was born she couldn't have any children. So suddenly Abraham had a prophecy that God said to her, what do you mean Sarah is laughing? It is true. It is really true that I will give birth and I am old. So here we see that God lied. God did a white lie. Shina Kosem Hashem, the verses, God himself changed it for the sake of peace. She said, my master is old, meaning Abraham is old. And really, God says she was old. Is anything hidden from God? God cannot do anything. I did his appointed time. In Pesach to come, I will return this next year, and Sarah will have a son. Is there anything too hidden and separate and concealed from me. At the time of the point I set for you yesterday, and I said this next time next year. So already, the truth is that Abraham had this prophecy already in last week's parsha, where God already told Abraham that he's going to have a son. Over here, the only difference between last week and this week is last week God told him to have a son. He didn't tell him when. It could be 10 years, it could be 20 years. Over here, the angel revealed to him that it's going to be next year exactly. So this happened on Pesach, and next year Pesach, Yitzchak will be born. Okay, we're going to the Tanya. We have the Tanya today. We are still in chapter 26 of the Alter Rebbe in Tanya. And the Alter Rebbe continues to explain why the concept of the journey of the Shekhinah as the presence of God comes to be manifested in the world. What happens when the Shekhinah, presence of God, leaves? We elevate the presence of God from the klippa that shines. We elevate it. At the end of time, when we'll extract the sparks of godliness that came down in klippas, in these coverings, and the evil will be separated from the good, and all the works of evil will disappear. Mashiach comes. The time Mashiach, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is klippa, the coverings, which prevails during the time of exile, will no longer dominate, because good will have departed, because the good will have departed from it. The bad will disappear. As you know, that nothing bad can survive without a little good. So once we take the good away from it, the bad disappears. So then, Torah mitzvahs, we're going to do the Torah mitzvahs, but it'll be a whole different level. It won't be for the purpose of rectifying the bad or elevating the good. It won't be that purpose. It'll be a whole new purpose. It'll be the consummation of unions more sublime than those which affect through our present Torah study, in order to call forth more sublime light, transcending Atzilus. We're going to be able, that's what we learned yesterday, the concept of the aspect of Yechida, that then will be the aspect of unity, and we'll see the unifying forces. So today, it's the Berudim, it's more the digging and the rectification. When Mashiach comes, that there won't be purpose for rectification, there'll be nothing to rectify, because everything's going to be perfect. So then it'll be continued the service of Torah, but it'll be on a whole different level. It'll be the service of Torah of connecting the unity. We'll see the unity between the Torah, between God and the world. Arizal says in his teachings. And this will be accomplished. That's why the Baal Shem Tov taught us that how does one accomplish this is through learning Chassidus today. Like Kayim Mitzvah Kavanim. Aleph Nimitz today through learning Chassidus, the inner parts of Torah, through performing mitzvahs v'kavanah yeinu chalev yeinu. So right now we're doing it for that reason, even though we don't see it. Mashiach comes, we'll see it. So if you do, that's why it says, when will Mashiach come? Is when we'll learn Chassidus. And not only will learn Chassidus, but the Chassidus will affect us, that will start doing Torah mitzvahs now, also for a more spiritual dimension. Because ultimately, every mitzvah, besides it's a command of God, it has its sources in infinity, it has its sources in God Himself. That's what it's brought down in some commentators. It's brought down in some holy books. The mitzvah v'tel aslav, that the mitzvahs will be bottled in the will to come. Mitzvah, you won't have to do a mitzvah. That's in the resurrection of the dead. We're going to be in the resurrection of the Elam Haba. Then we'll be on such a high level. It'll be on even a higher level than the time of Mashiach. Mashiach, Kaidim Tchias HaMesim. But in the time of Mashiach, which is before Tchias HaMesim, Tchias HaMesim is going to be after the coming of Mashiach. Ein B'Telem, no mitzvah will be bottled. We won't do it anymore. That's why the Torah then will then be directly Pnimis HaTorah, time of Mashiach, in the mystical part of the Torah, of the commandments and the hidden reasons. So that's ultimately, the more we learn now, Torah Sachsidis, the more we learn now, the esoteric part of Torah, even though we don't see it, right now we're learning about it. The more we learn about it, will merit to what we see, what we learn. Mashiach comes, will merit to what we learn.
I can't wait.
The revealed aspect of the Hava will be manifest and known to every Jew by an innate and unforgettable knowledge. You won't have to even learn it, because it will be just known. It will be chacham. And I will toil in these aspects of the Torah. Because these Erev Rav, it was always people that don't want to learn Chassidus. It's a sad thing that these people don't want to learn Chassidus. Will not learn Chassidus when Mashiach comes either, and they'll never taste from the tree of life. So therefore, it's important to learn Chassidus today, even though today you understand a little bit, maybe understand a lot, but it's only in the world of understanding. It's not in the world of seeing. When Mashiach comes, whatever you learn now is what you're going to see later. And they're going to have to continue to learn Nigla until they can weaken the Sitra Achra that cleaves to them. That will not dominate them to cause them to sin. As it's written, a sinner at the age of 100 will be cursed. This refers to the sinners of the mixed multitude. In addition, on a particular level, they will need the detailed rulings of prohibited and impure more than the Jews. So the latter, nothing will occur that is ritual unfit, impure, and forbidden. For there will not befall any sin to the righteous. In the era of Mashiach, all Jews will be in the level of righteousness. And it's also possible, and indeed probable, that the Jewish people will know all the fundamentals of the revealed plane of the Torah from the pneumius, from the hidden aspects of the Torah. As we know, Avram Avinu itself knew the hidden Torah as he knew the revealed part of the Torah. Therefore, there will be no need to occupy themselves with nigla anymore, which in laws define the permitted or prohibited, pure or impure at all, because it's not, they're going to be all chacham. But in the time of even the time of Beis Hamikdash, they still needed to learn this. And it was not for their practical application, but because of the main person of the divine service. To weaken the power of Sitra Achra in the time of the second Beis Hamikdash. To elevate and through the service of Torah as explained elsewhere. Through after all this that I've said, you'll understand the teachings of the Rayim Ham, which he spoke about, that the Torah, the mitzvahs come from the tree of good and evil, prohibited and permission. Which he wanted to real that Rayim Ham, they wanted to explain, which is the klipas nega, the cover that shines, which is the mainstay of this world. As it's brought down in the Gullus, as it's brought down in Eitz Chaim, with Daila Maven, and this will be suffice to those who understand. And that completes the Tanya of the day. We are holding on the 11th day of Cheshvan. My friends, I'm going to run to the Minyan. We are holding the 11th day of Cheshvan, and the Tillim of the day is chapter 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. So 60 to 65, and you would do the Chitas of the day. B'mir Shem today at 10 a.m. at Chabad, or on this Facebook Torah Direct, we're going to continue to learn the Shara B'Tochen, the portal of faith, of trust, the Chayvus Alavaves, the duties of the heart, and that will be in Midshem today at 10 a.m. We are going from chapter 2 to chapter 3. Hopefully, we'll finish that teaching in the near future. I wish you a great, beautiful, happy day.